Team Liquid have relieved Jatt from his coaching duties after Jatt put in his resignation, and it was accepted by CEO Steve Arhancet, Big Steve. They had a press conference today. It was Steve and Dodo fielding questions that were not pre-screened, wanted full transparency, which I think is telling on some of the issues that they were running into in terms of communication and directly saying what you wanted to say and having that come across. So with that move, Kold, the strategic coach, former jungler in Europe, also in the LCS way back when he was going by Trashy, will be taking over the interim head coach spot. Hack's Defender will be moving up from the academy roster into the LCS roster as a assistant coach. Now let's start from the top. The move from Jatt, when asked about it in this press conference, Steve said that Jatt's self-awareness of his standing in the team when it came to this. There's a quote that he put out: "This team has a higher probability of winning without me." And so with that, Steve didn't push back and asked if he was sure. Jatt said he was and accepted his resignation. Now, when asked about ALPHARI, Steve gave some hindsight is 2020 feedback, which was they should have pushed harder for ALPHARI to take a break rather than try to begin the split. A lot of ALPHARI's issues seem to have stemmed from culture shock. Steve said culture shock is a real thing. There's an adoption period, and it takes time to get comfortable. Now, when pushed further about the similarities between Piglet and ALPHARI, and Piglet had his adoption period, and it was well documented in Breaking Point, he said, "Barney was going through something that I feel is major. I don't know how you go through that and still be the player and teammate you intended to be." So whatever that thing is, whatever the culture shock manifestation is, we don't know, but the fact that it was a manifestation of it that was preventing him from wanting to play, wanting to be the best, and all these types of things, missing home, seemed to be the major factor there. So going back to what they would have done differently, they would have pushed harder to have ALPHARI take a break. They said the conversations after the TSM game were not fair to Barney. So I'm not sure what specific conversation he's talking about, whether it's a team conversation, whether it was a conversation between Jatt and ALPHARI. And then the whole sequence of communication could have been more optimal from the video that was put out by Team Liquid, the interview with Travis, and then statements put out afterwards. Those are things that Big Steve wanted to try and fix. Now, when pushed about Kold coming into the roster and leading the team, he said he understands what his role is. He's focusing on his responsibilities in the strategic nature that he is bringing on in. One thing that I didn't quite get was the sense that this leader position, the leader of men, leader of the players, isn't necessarily getting filled. I asked Steve, hey, how much are you going to be involved with the squad? He said, I'm going to be involved as much as I need to be involved. He wants to give Kold his space to open his wings and fly, he said. But he's obviously making this a priority for the near future. Yeah, big moves over from Team Liquid. That's not the only move, though, that they are being forced to make. Santorin will also be indefinitely out now due to debilitating symptoms associated with his health. It looked like migraines, but it's, personal health type things. Weren't going to get a lot of information on that. They've been prioritizing it and now are making it the priority for Santorin, who wanted to continue playing, but North American healthcare is very difficult to go through, as well as keep up your practice schedule. So Armao will be stepping into the top roster. A very turbulent day for Team Liquid. Steve and Dodo both said that the team feels confident. Their goal is still to win at all costs, go to Worlds. And I feel like you have to say that. I don't know how you would ever spin it and say, yeah, the players didn't like this change, or the players are, shaky moving forward. You can't say that. But he was very, very emphatic about how confident and how driven the players are to win. So only time will tell here after Jatt, after 14 months with the organization, has resigned.